2 black dice right here.
Okay.
Boom.
So what's our metric?
It's fine. Yeah.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Oh, crap.
Let's get the score right, though.
35%. We're 2-1 favorites.
Let's get the score right.
I didn't know that, Junior.
2-1 favorites.
Left.
And so this is the USA.
65. I know it's 65, but I don't know the percentage. Maybe it's 60.
Let's pause. No hurry. This is back in 2016. I went to the New York tournament, stayed with my buddy Jason, and on one of the last days, the World versus USA team event culminated in this full consultation 11-point match, and I think because the USA had won more of the other events like the speed and the one-on-one 13-point matches, they took a 3-0 lead into this final match. So the final match is 11. So USA leading 3-0 to 11. Whoever wins gets to 11 points. Obviously, will win the whole event. So I was there, and I was watching. I think there was a screen up, and I was watching avidly. But let's see. I've never put this through XG. Let's see. Let's check its recording. Let's check. Yeah. And let's go. Let's go.
64-9, but who cares?
So 6-5 is going to be played like that, of course. 5-4 is going to come up and split. And the 6-5, that's a neat little roll. Let's see if we can turn up the sound, because this is the most interesting thing.
4 times now? One time I saw it.
Yeah, I've seen it.
5-3.
Might have been the same game.
5-3.
I like that.
I go to the 2-point. I don't want to be hit. I want to make anything.
5-3, and so 5-4 for the USA. Neil wants to go to the 2-point. I think I would play to the 9-point.
Yeah, I'll go with that if you want that. No big deal.
Okay.
Okay.
Even if I had a different
6-2. What a shot is going to hit. So that takes the advantage away from the USA.
no matter what my well, in that situation, it didn't matter.
Why did you play mass play first?
1-1. Well,
Slot the bar?
Yeah, that's
are we going to slot the bar here? I think we're going to do this.
6 shots extra.
And I know what happens because I've seen this many times. This is the key moment in the game. This is the key moment. And now prepare for a long, long discussion. So there's about a 3-minute discussion now. And basically, the nub of it is that Falafel doesn't think it's quite a double yet. And I think Matt, who's playing on the USA team, tends to agree. Whereas most other, or in fact, all of the other team members think it's a double. So they discuss it for 2 or 3 minutes, and guess who ends up being right?
Okay, if we double right, what is their chance of passing?
0.
What's their chance of passing if we roll a 4 and they don't bring 2 pieces in?
So what I'm going to do, I'm going to double speed.
But they are a bit desperate in the score.
And they discuss it, they're sort of saying, well, if we give away the cube, look at all the easy re-cubes, and we're leading 3-0, we don't want to be aggressive, and so on and so forth. And it's just not something you really can work out. It's something you know by feel. And yeah, Falafel gets it absolutely right. It's like a feeling thing.
Plenty of contact for us to be gammon.
This contact is only one guy that can have board isn't so good. It's a long time till we get gammon.
And we can
Yeah,
fast
I know
forward
it's a
it.
few, but in normal circumstances, I just
Let me ask you a question.
don't know the
Is it a
score.
take under a normal strip?
Calculated or what even try?
Petko's on the team. He wants to double.
I mean, the take is routine. Let's start with that. At least.
That we
At least
know.
can
We
start
got
by
Neil
starting.
Kazaross. We've got Steve Sachs.
I'm pretty sure that's a double under most circumstances. I mean, I think it's staying, but
We got Matt Cohn-Geier.
I mean, I just think it's staying because of the score.
And on the world team, we've got Mochi, Michi, Akiko, Thomas, and Toby. Maybe one more.
Get to 8.
I've forgotten.
Recube. Bar gammon.
Recube is coming.
So
Sell anything.
I gave you 3 to 2.
I'm not lying, you know, I told exactly what I thought.
so they do cube.
Oh, Tobias beat
Of course, it's a take,
Five?
and then followed up by a 5-4. Played 2 down.
What was it?
Seems sensible. 4-2. He brings 2 men in.
Well, you know, I wanted to be diplomatic.
6-1.
So we just,
So you have to play safe, I think.
Yeah. You want to play 8 to 7? That's an extra 2 buildings.
So we can see that the cube is
Well, yeah, but they only
on
have
pluses. A reasonably sized error. I mean, you know.
You're completely out.
I mean, now we
So 6-1. Yeah, they decide not to go with Steve was suggesting just playing 8-7 and leaving a 5.
You're like winning the game.
So 4-3. There's,
Game and you want to leave a shot.
you know, you could possibly hit on the ace point because you've got this facing this big stack that's going to do stuff in your face. And you don't want it to do stuff in your face.
Yeah.
So what's the only way of stopping it from doing that? Well, there's no other play. By elimination.
And so if we reach this position and double them before the 6-1,
So of course the USA team is still sort of speculating about the double, even though they've already doubled.
they get gammon a lot.
maybe they have a pass. But I did roll 4. I think it's a pass.
Oh, so you're up on the.
I think it becomes a
Okay,
pass.
so.
Okay, we keep and they came in with 2. It's not a
We are down 18.
We didn't roll better. Average number wasn't even better. Well, we rolled 60. Let's say we make bar and came up with Steve. 4-5 is better than average. 4-5.
Well, I was just going to wait to see whether they make their decision quickly. I've watched this a couple of times. They take a little bit of time. I think they end up hitting on the ace point. I mean, this leaves sort of 4-2, 4-3, 3-2, 6-2, 6-3, double 4. Now 5-4 hits on the 15 point, etc.
I'm not a
They're
graphic
gonna hit
person.
us. So we can't use this as a dealer. This is more like liability. But this is also maybe this is
This-
too.
As far as my strategic idea goes, this doesn't solve the problem because this still allows them to have their full roll and point in your face. And maybe this is a necessary defensive play, taking away some punishing numbers. So even if you get hit with a 1, then you can remake the 21 point.
Yeah.
You can remake this here.
8 to 7.
So the only really great numbers now are going to be, of course, double 1, 1-4 is probably second best. Double 4 is the best. Double 1-4 is third best. So double 2, double 4, 1-4, 1-2.
Yeah, also roll like 260.
It's not so bad to get hit and just get another chance and down. We already.
So I think Thomas is arguing for this play.
So I think I kind of like it.
Yeah, I agree. Okay.
Okay, so they go for that.
They did.
And what's the glare? It's a 5 something. Oh, it's the 5-5. So yeah, that just comes all the way around.
Nope.
See, Victor, we don't have to spend any
And
time
now,
over plays
you
like
know, as the world, we're desperate to roll a 2. I'm the world, I'm not USA. So I'm desperate to roll a 2. Is it a 5-4? That's really... Oh, it's a double 4. Okay, so that's forced in a way, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, this is better. This is better. It makes 2 points. I think this is what they play.
Probably different functional ways. Or where
No,
raise.
I'm wrong. I thought they played. Okay, interesting. 6-4.
For lack of a
So
better thing to do.
this is really the only play that doesn't leave shots, so you have to make it. Not that you necessarily want to make the 2 point, but it's not that bad.
Question
Putting
is, do I hit?
men in the air, and now
Only if it's
the
legal.
world finally, the USA finally has a strong position, forced to hit, I suppose.
I don't think.
Not really necessarily a game you want to
Yeah,
play,
hitting is
having
sure,
to
right?
try
I
and
would leave it.
hit
Yeah,
lose,
so-
being 3-0 up. You just want to
If that looks
protect
too
your
rough, I would
lead,
leave
but
it. The upside when they
of course you're
miss it,
8
that's too
away,
bad.
so
And of course we have. Right.
23 of his rolls are terrible.
I mean, yeah, making the 4 would be a huge improvement.
and looking at
23
the
of his
Is
rolls
that
are
okay?
terrible. Let's do this.
the
I
double
like it.
4 here,
We're not doing that.
it was
That's
close.
too soft. Resulting structure looks too awkward.
Okay, so they do hit.
We're
I don't
on.
think they were going to do anything else ever. So 2 men in the air, hoping for a 4. A 1-6 is not going to cut the mustard. And so there are still numbers like 4-3, 5-3 that double 1 is one of them that managed to
Right?
Yes,
pick
yes,
up the
yes.
man on the ace point,
Splits, not
as
problems.
in point on him and prevent, therefore,
Is there anything else?
the world from anchoring immediately by rolling a 1. So now they can only anchor with double 2 and double 3, of course. Preventing someone from anchoring is a very important idea in a blitz. So, you know, like, this is one play, but if you could,
Right?
if you want to prevent them from anchoring, you would hit twice in board, which is probably too big.
Well, the double hit.
I don't think so.
Of course, if you could point naturally, you would, and you would pay off to like a 17-1 shot. If you say you rolled a 4-2, you would pay off to 2-5 quite willingly, but
We're not. Yeah.
you don't want to, I suppose, leave too many shots. I mean, I have to admit the play, the double tiger play, sort of came out at me. I missed that. That's not good. Okay. So they played the 6-2, and so of course the world team rolled an ace
We're not hitting.
with
Double
something.
hit looks a bit rich.
Oh, well, the double hit.
I don't think so. I think I do
If
this.
he anchors up, we win pretty easily. And
I
if he
think I
doesn't
do this.
anchor up, we can still attack.
If he doesn't anchor up, we still attack. If he
Right.
runs a guy with a 6, we may still gammon that guy. Let's do
You can't
this.
really- It's not like you can improve his
We're
position
not.
that much.
Yeah.
No, let's do this.
Okay, yeah, they've gone for the not leaving 20 shots. So they rolled a 1-6. Okay, so
Yeah, we should talk about that.
I don't.
They wanna hit us.
Yeah.
So we can't.
I want him out of here. Nothing fancy.
If
Right.
he anchor up, we can still attack.
Right? We're not hitting.
Nothing fancy.
Right? We're not hitting.
Double hit looks a bit rich.
Oh, well, the double hit.
I don't think so. The board's too good to double hit. And we get in that gammon thing again.
Would have been good to hit.
right, so the 1-6, and then the 4-3. Just in or 5-2. I don't know which one.
But we want to start. We need to get into our board.
I think most people would play this. It's not right.
How would that have worked? We would have needed to roll from the bottom.
Would have
So
been
6-2 just comes down like this. 5-1. This is safest, I think, just going all the way to the ace.
good. Okay.
But it's not right. Maybe. 6-3, you can make 2 points, but you can slot the point preparing to make it. You're not getting any shots here. 5-4, he's just going to clear the 6 point.
Don't help them, Steve.
No, I'm distracting.
They can volunteer.
Not stretching anybody.
What?
They can volunteer with 6-5.
Yeah, or 5-4.
5-4.
But they're never gonna volunteer, right? So it's better to just.
I promise you, mate.
Okay.
Play safe.
Okay. Play safe 5-4 no matter how many blots you have. 1, 2, or 9.
Okay, 6-4
Play safe with this also. Nice.
The only safe move.
is a great roll. Clears the outside point. That's what you want to do first. That makes the full board, I suppose. No reason not to. 5-2 is a good roll. Clears the outside point. So it looks like the USA are cruising to a 2-pointer. 4-3, do you come in? I don't think there's going to be much in it, but you want to get the crossover, I suppose. Or not? No.
I wanted to look at the.
Oh, I didn't see it, but I don't think it's enough.
3-2.
So
So the key is just to play really as safely as possible.
But it's just.
we can win a gammon.
We can even.
You guys sure about this?
Sure.
You're letting it hang around, but sometimes you
No,
kind
I
of have
thought
to
you
come in
are
with a 6.
comparing this.
I'm
There's
okay
no
with
real safe play, so you might as well
If you go
just
back, you bear the 2 off,
hit
and you play
and
4 to 1.
you really want to clear the 6 point if you're trying to be safe. You can't do that.
I think I like picking a pass.
So there's no safe play really, so you might as well just hit and bear the man off.
Let's do this. Let's do this and hit the clock.
Yeah, if we clear the 6.
I didn't see. I don't think there was anything else. I think everyone kind of
That's the idea
agreed,
I'm saying too, yeah.
and we know there's at least 4 shots here.
Double 2s.
Double 2 is very good. I would probably switch from the 5. So then the idea is you're only leaving 6-1, 5-1. If you clear the 6 point, maybe this is better.
That is a closed board. I like it.
But then he can come in on the 6 point, so that you might gain when he comes in on the 6. You might never have to leave shots. So with the 4-3,
I don't like that at all.
they didn't look at clearing the 8.
Let's clear the 6.
Yeah, I'm with
Clear the
you.
6 or
And then
switch.
there's-
Looks good.
No, not the switch. Because it leaves 5-1 and 6-1. So I think there's
All right,
just
let's
6-5.
do this. 9 6s, get rid of them.
So what do they
One of the
play?
6s. Goodbye.
Well, we missed out on some of the gammons, but
What do they play?
we
They cleared the 6, and they... Okay, fine. They've got an extra man there which you can't see. So Mochi rolled 6-6, and just 1, 2, 3, 4 just came around like this.
do lock up the game.
Locking up the game is good.
Oh,
So clearing the 6 was right.
they're double 6s.
They have a closed
You don't
board.
let them
They're not
re-roll
getting
that.
gammon very well. I wouldn't. I want them out of my area.
6-5.
We lose more games than we win gammon.
Should they re-roll double 6?
Of course, losing the game is a big swing.
And what's that? 5-1.
We don't lose more games.
I wonder what they would have done with our double 2s. They probably won
6-3.
It feels like they would not make that fly.
Oop.
Then they would switch.
6-1.
Yeah, they would switch. Maybe that would be a mistake.
realize there are 10 people watching, but this is
5-4.
Of course it is.
Of course it is.
Trying to kind of keep up with the audio as well, and Neil and Falafel are exchanging
What nonsense is that?
I just want to give you something to talk about.
ideas. The rest of the team are kind of quiet.
Then, you know, then you're
What is that?
in there.
Another 5-1. It's not going to be good enough. 5-1.
Best not repeated.
Okay,
5-3. 5 not. 5.
so let's resign a single.
The rules.
So what was wrong? The cube there and the clearing the 8 point
There's
and
nothing clearer than legal moves, Steve. And that's that.
We didn't have much of a decision.
No, everything was
3-2.
everything was forced.
I like two down.
I think it's trading that much. I think 2 down is fine. Okay.
They're going to play 2 down. Trailing.
I never do this, so you have to.
Yeah, I don't do it either. I hate playing 2 down. I like to just run my back checkers because I'm
The
scared.
follow-up here mostly is pretty
Get them to
easy. Make the
safety.
5-point make it.
Yeah,
5-4. This is a horrible
You
roll.
resign from making this move ever again.
So
You guys
this
have to help
comes
him
up
out, he doesn't
a
understand.
hell of a lot of the time.
I can suggest
You can
it.
play 1 down from the 13 to the 4-point in safety of the man. You can play 13, 8, 10 to 6.
Yeah, let's take a look at some of the options. So this is one option. Maybe
This seems
probably better than
okay.
no. Yeah.
Duplicating your own 6-1 if he doesn't improve. And of course, the detraction from this is that you put a big stack on the 6-point.
Better, even better. But gives even more numbers.
But a play that you can't really afford to make is playing 13, 9, 10 to 5 because it leaves
11 numbers.
3 blots, which is too big, I think, even at this score.
Look at the slot. Yeah, sure.
So
how do you start? I would slot the 5, and come down to the 4.
this leaves 2 blots. Maybe this is too big.
It's very loose.
Probably not wrong by much if it is wrong.
It's a pound. Could be the DMP play. 19 shots? Yeah, maybe 20. I counted 19.
19.
And I hate playing guys that can count.
That's what you said.
Looks very loose.
I wouldn't be that against this play, but I would have to admit that I don't really know.
I won that match.
I have no clue.
And I played the 2.95. I forgot who won.
I outplayed you again.
The real problem with this play is that you have to strip the midpoint with anything. So
the 4 is here, right? No matter what. And now we're looking at either slotting or coming to the 6. This way. 6-3, 5.
So now some of your 6s are going to play okay, assuming you don't get hit. Let's say white rolls, the USA roll a 3-2, and they make the 8-point here. And then if you roll a 6-3 or a 6-2, then 6-2 is going to make the 4-point. 6-5 will make the 4-point. 6-3 will make the 3-point. So there's some value in doing this, and your other numbers should play. So you usually look at how your 6s are going to play. Why is that? Because it's a good question. I don't really know the answer to the question, but it's something to do with the fact that 6s can tend to go from one quadrant to another, whereas the smaller roads tend not to go that far, so as not to be able to get in range of a hitting of an opponent's checker that can hit you.
I think it could be right. Not that maybe trading could be right. We're not so afraid of, the loose position. Of course, you shouldn't see it.
So
But it's also maybe more risky in terms of the error size.
I think they're going to go with this,
It might be a bigger like might be
with the
I think if we slot
with this play.
only 6 bad numbers.
Yeah.
It is.
How many bad numbers do they have? We don't know.
Here they have more than 10 bad numbers.
Yeah. It's probably safer in terms of not making a big error. But
So it doesn't really matter
I'm fine with this.
what you.
Pretty good. Okay.
Okay, so they go for the.
Is double 5 one of our bad numbers? Double 5.
They go for 13, 9, 11, 6. Of course, you can see stacking 6 men on the midpoint. It's not what they wanted, but what else could they do? 6-2 is hitting. 3-6 is
I
going to
don't think-
come in,
What?
and
So I don't like this.
I don't really know.
So it leaves only one more hole.
At this score, I'd probably play 10-4. You really want to try and make the advanced anchor. So if you leave the man there, and you don't get pointed on, you have opportunities to make the advanced anchor. It's just not a good roll.
Yeah, we can anchor up. And it's
So
kind of gives him free hand.
we've got time to see that the right play was to slot with the 5-4, so 13-9, 10-5, although it's kind of close. They're still agonizing over this 3-6. I'm really not sure.
Also, if they hit us down here, we might get a double
Officially
anchor,
caught up on time.
which is not so bad.
There's an extra prize for that.
I think putting a check here is good.
And then with the 5-4,
We might get a backhand if they hit the slot.
Okay, let's do this. I also like this one.
Really? You might get a backhand?
okay, so they did
We have nothing.
You're not gonna hit
so-
the, you're not gonna hit the checker.
They have 6
they did play 10-4. This is what I
Yeah,
probably
very
would have
well
done.
I don't
Of
agree.
course,
What?
the USA are
You want-
never
I
ever
don't-
double
I don't
this.
emphatically
So
no.
you get one vote. You can vote emphatically or you can vote quietly.
Oh,
You get
yeah?
one
Oh,
vote.
okay.
He's not entitled to his emphatic vote.
Oh, wow.
You decide.
Genius, yeah.
You're a genius. What do you say?
You said genius.
It's actually
Um,
the number of teams.
What?
That's why we need to be here, so we can
Yeah.
make a decision.
Well, we're on shake, so they have to get missed first before they get 1 point.
I think it's too much game left here. Score is
I
think this is double. That would make this score. No way.
So, I mean, there's every reason not to double.
This is a different
Yeah,
score.
actually,
The fact that you don't
no, I think
necessarily win that many single
No,
games
it's
here,
not
but, and you, the fact that you win a lot of gammons, the fact that you're up in the score by quite a considerable amount, you must be like 75% or 70%, at least 72% favorites. 5-1, just gonna make.
Let's scoot over there. Move the ace over there.
Why?
Duplicate the 4s
Fours
and 2s.
would be
You
good.
can play 6 to 5, remove the back.
I'm considering my own. I want to aim at my point over there. Maybe I'm being wrong. I give him a good double 6 too. I think you guys are probably right.
And incredibly,
I'm trying to aim at the number.
it was a
But
cue.
again, we can diversify stuff.
Incredibly.
I think I would do
Wait,
Wow.
This? Neil's play?
Let's plus it.
Not worry about duplication.
If you double six.
Just shows you how wrong I was.
Six
Wow.
makes it really good here.
Well,
Yeah, but I think,
Small cube, but still.
but I think that Neil is right.
70.1% favorite, so you win a lot of single games.
It makes sense to me. This doesn't. So
Okay, so
I don't like
duplicating the
24.
3, I don't think it's going to be big either way, which will ace you play.
To be a super joker.
2-1
There's no need to do that.
was cocked.
Yeah, then you have to leave more blots. If you roll.
2-1.
2-1.
So making the 4 is mandatory.
I'm very sure that this is the right move.
And then the ace is tricky. Do you play 24-23? Seems natural. Don't really want to get hit.
In a very
So the cube is gone away. It's just basically a break-even proposition. So
Now we can. Now
that's
we're-
interesting.
some bigger threats.
Let me ask you, this is still a money take.
My game got worse.
This is split.
So I wouldn't double it this way with the Swiss contact.
Interesting.
So I think
Still a
it's,
money
no, I think
take.
it's closer.
Oh yeah.
If I would have doubled, let's see.
Because they don't have enough ammunition to probably
So
afraid of splitting.
they're still thinking about the ace.
Yeah, so they don't attack. So you
The likelihood of making the 5 point after you slot it, not so great. You've got a strip midpoint, so you're unlikely to want to make it with numbers from there. 8.
right up here against
Really not sure.
So Thomas likes.
Midpoint is stripped here,
I'm not sure, but it
But
looks
to-
attractive.
we are
and splitting accomplishes a good thing. So it's not as if your alternative isn't valuable to you.
don't have a real chance to contain him.
Um, But you know,
I mean, it's almost impossible to make the 4.
Okay.
the 2 is,
Look at the
we
other.
know, is just a very good roll.
So which
And then of course there's coming up. No one's mentioned that coming up is valuable as well.
This is better
But then you duplicate your own threes. I think Mochi just said that.
The 3 is kind of good. But we never come out with 5 or 6, even if we go right next one. I mean, sometimes we must.
So I think the idea is, and yeah, I've watched this before, so maybe
So what is it way better to get the 21?
I remember from that, the idea is that, you know, you're trying to maximize your chances of making the 21. Of course, if you
Race is not so bad for us, and maybe it's a lot better to get the 21 angle than
if you split, then you make it with, you know, 3-1, 2-1,
still get the 21
and double 1.
some numbers.
If you come up, then you're going to make it with all threes, but then you've got another number on the die to play. So let's say you roll 3, 6, you won't be able to stay there. So you're not possibly necessarily wanting to make this 21 with numbers other than 3, 2, 3, 1, double 1. Well, double 1 will make the 5 point. You're actually going to be escaping the backman a lot of the time. And then with numbers like 4s, 4, 2, you can't do anything constructive anyway, so it doesn't really matter what you do.
Yeah. Like
If we manage to make a 21, it's huge because that's only our game plan.
Yeah, if you're not that far behind the race. But we can also make the 21 the other.
Yeah, but 22 is, but much less likely, of course.
And of course, we also, if we make the split to 22, we also give him the
We're going to fast forward it a little bit.
So I'm voting for this, and
so if it seems like they're going to play this, I would have been inclined to play 23.
Toby, you have to break the tie.
I'm not sure.
They're not, right, okay. Well, this, they go for this.
They made the flip.
They played Toby.
They made the play.
It was very close either way, very close. We can plus it. You can see the top play at the moment is 24, 23, 6, 4. So 6, 1 is a safe roll.
Okay.
Roll that. I'm very glad you played that ace.
Oh yeah, that's true.
3, 2 is a very good number because it enables them to make the 20. Oh, what was it? Oh, double 2.
I saw that part of it, yes.
They're susceptible to the double.
Yeah.
Still forced, I think. 3, 2, of course, was much better. 5, 3.
Leave it to me. I make the wrong move.
see how strong the 3-point is. Okay.
Okay, so USA a big favorite, but they, you know, they still can't really cube.
Nobody knows.
6-3 is going to make the 5, I think. Although you would like to escape, but
Let's do that first.
6-5, what a roll. And now it's looking like a close to a pass because the single games have just shot up. So 6-5 is a great roll. I think you're just going to come out from the 22 point. Well, the numbers are all screwed up here.
123 for what? What do they have after the play? After the play.
But as the race is close, then on second thoughts, you might want to make the 16 point. You might want to make this point here. Come out with the 6. Come out with the 5. Have a defensive anchor here. Look strong. Sort of negates the influence of them making the 4 point a little bit. Prevents them from making the 9 point. Looking like it's going to be the play. And the race is close, so you're not against.
Yeah, we can also go from race.
Oh yeah, Thomas wants to stay back, so I think.
No, I don't think so. I think we have.
It just does what you want to do. You just want to make the 16.
Only 6.
Only 6 pips, like we're behind. So keep contact.
Gives us a chance to look at the 5-1. The 5-1 correct ace was to come up with the 1.
Am I right?
And with the 2-1, it's very close between
Then why not
24-23 and 22-21,
Keeping contact.
with a close third
Right at-
to slotting.
By moving a checker from there, they also get some blitzing numbers.
Yes, they have 3 bearers.
Yeah.
But they don't really use on this one because we have a reduction from 6 numbers.
So I'm going to put this player on the board. I think they make it. I don't think they're going to stay back.
Okay, I want to wait. Anybody want to help me?
Okay, this is not a double anymore.
We got it all right,
I got it in first this time.
right?
Yeah, yeah. You quick.
All right.
5-3, just makes the point. And now what about the cube action?
Well, 6 is no good.
Do we manage to come in on the 4 point? No. 2-5 is a bad roll.
Anybody want to cube?
You don't really want another checker on the 11 point. 8-3, okay.
How many pips are we ahead? We're ahead 10. So is this like a money pass for starters?
So it's only 4s that are bad, really. Meaning like 3-1, double 2 won't be great either. Double 1 is okay.
So this is already a very powerful position.
If we roll something stupid.
Is there a bit of bluff in Falafel's statement that it's a very powerful position? I'm not sure.
Again, we have a
Most of the
rating
rolls
build
play
this.
very, very well.
How we play 3-1.
I'm not going to.
Behind him. He gets played.
38.
Or clear the 8.
All our numbers
What's
really
better?
play.
I mean,
2-1,
3-1.
3-1.
2-1 is the worst. 2-1 is like the worst.
Double
3-1 is
4.
also sexy, but
You know, it's really difficult for them to
3-1
win.
is worse than 2-1.
it's probably
So,
cute. With the 10 pips.
Well, is it a money take?
An upside.
well, it's not.
Who's taking for money?
I like.
Anybody on our team
No.
taking this for money happily?
No, I
Let's let
don't.
them decide on their cube.
I don't think I'm taking this for money, but
So we're good with the cube?
Let's double.
and we shouldn't get gammoned very often. Let's double. Let's double.
Falafel.
I can understand the double. I would be inclined to take,
You like it too?
Put down 10 pips.
Yeah, sure.
but maybe I don't
I have an
understand the
objection.
position.
Right. And if we roll double 4, we're still okay. We can always
Right,
switch
we'll
on them.
switch.
Double 4 is actually good roll.
I wouldn't mind double 4.
Not completely.
Do we re-roll or do we take double 4?
I think
We have a regular take.
Especially
The contact favor.
60 pips are shaking.
I mean, I think it's an easy take, but prepared to be wrong.
Interesting thing would be how to play double 3.
It's not an easy take at all. It's very close. It might well be a pass
Not make the deuce point.
on a higher level.
Let me think a little bit more.
You can see here by the evaluation that it's less than 1, so it makes it a slight take after the correct play of the 2-5.
Double 4 is just fine. 6-4 is okay. Can I agree, but
6-3.
I think it's a 6. It's not bad.
how about 5-4?
5-4 play.
5-4 is kind of bad.
5-4 is, oh yeah, kind of bad.
Let's double speed it. So they're just going through the numbers. I mean, the fact that our 3 point isn't made is a negative for us, so that might be why. So what did we have? A 6-2, so they took, and then 6-2, which is a bit awkward, and then a 2-1, so looking to make the 3 point, no reason necessarily to come up. And the take is very close, 0.01. But as I said, it might change on a higher setting.
Maybe making a 3. Could be right.
It looks very natural to make the 3 point being behind. If you don't come up, then you can't escape. Question is, do you want to escape?
I agree.
Okay, the answer, Michi thinks no. I would have made the 3 point, but 5-3.
Looking point on him.
So it's only going to be 4-3 and 1-6. If you don't do it, then you're going to leave 5 checkers on the 5 point. It's going to get more awkward for you. Looking at the cube, it was looking on a higher setting to be a pass. Very difficult to pass cubes like that. It's always an inclination to take, especially when you're 5-0 down to 11. Okay, so I think they're going to point. It's much safer in the long term. It's not immediate death. I mean, if you get hit, you could come in with a 2-6. You could come in with a 2. So it's a 4-point board, remember, a very strong one, but it's not a closed board or a 5-point board.
More gammon.
Yeah, they have enough time.
So the other move is obviously the safe
They have enough time to hold the 16.
There's only 2 moves here.
But this looks pretty ugly and awkward.
It'd look even worse if you actually put that.
Still would have to do something.
You know, they're going to play here, and then we have to roll a perfecta of some sort.
So this is obvious, and this is obviously why
I think
you have to point and risk being hit with 4 numbers,
I have a second play, but
which is not death.
But I think it's too soft.
Okay.
well explained.
Everybody agrees.
So it's a big difference.
Are you allowed to come in and hit?
And of course you can get gammoned as well.
You want to leave a shot. To be
No,
honest.
but I know that.
And
We wouldn't have
the
left the shot.
alternative was not good.
We wouldn't have left the shot. if
Now
we
there's
were-
arguments for coming up again, because if you don't come up, then
Right, exactly.
26 and down 22.
That was the difference. I think that was the difference. The extra spare where it went.
That's my opinion.
if you don't come up, you're not necessarily going to get shots on the 8 point or shots on the 13 point.
But we do gain them.
Although you do have your 16 point.
We don't instantly lose.
This is a really difficult play. If you stay back, then maybe USA just makes the bar. Then you've got some play here with these 2 checkers. But then the curiosity is that the USA will be able to move the checkers on the 8 point without them being in direct range. Whereas if the checker here, blue's checker, was on the 21 point, white wouldn't be able to clear the 8 point with impunity or move a checker from there. And white might want to move one of these checkers down the line in order to bring this position home. So we go back to the cube. It's quite even getting an even bigger pass. This is what tends to happen on higher settings, that XG lower levels underrates the doubling side. We could even start rolling it out while we're waiting.
I agree. If we come up, only 6-5.
Yeah, 6-5. Coming up is like playing for the raise.
So they stay back. 6-5. They roll the number. This is the number that clears the move, leaves a blot on the 8. Wow. So they were played well, so there's no reason why they shouldn't be entitled to hit. And now there's going to be like a recube or a 2 good or something, and then they have to play 7-4. And this is obviously untakeable.
They must take it. This is a perfect scenario you imagine.
Or maybe not untakeable. Who knows? 13 pips down, but an open 4 point.
No, it's not too good.
Not so good.
So it's not too good for sure.
Thomas, it's not too good.
It is a pass, but we have to wait to see how much.
Not like nice to take. Let's go.
I mean,
Not so good.
the world knows, or I assume they think it's a pass. It just feels like a pass.
must double. I guess.
Okay, no.
And I think they're gonna pass as well.
Then some kind of
Well, it's 100 to 113.
They're gonna pass. It's pretty obvious.
Pass.
This is the good news. We're up 13.
We're ahead in the race.
The bad news is, but I don't like it. We're ahead in the race.
Bad news, we don't have our 4-point range.
Could it be close?
So we just pass? Is that it?
Yeah.
I would pass.
33%.
We have almost no BQ
We
big.
could lose a gammon.
I wonder what the take point is
That
here.
factors into the pass.
So we gotta knock it.
33%. So it's close. Without gammons, it's 26, but just the 12% gammons swings it massively. The take point makes so they do pass.
5-2. Nice
Let's
shot.
see how big it is. It's like a 60, so it's not enormous.
It must be an easy pass.
Are they going to have a break?
Yeah, I don't like that ace thing you made. I'm pretty sure it's wrong.
They're going to have a break, so I'm going to leave it there. So if we go back to game one, just have a mini review of the match. 6-5, 5-4 split, 6-5, 5-3 just makes the point. 5-4, 2 down was right by quite a large margin. 6-2 obviously hits, double 1, slot the bar, make the point, and then the double was a small error, so Falafel was right. Let's just get rid of this. And we had the 5-4, 4-2, 4-3. It was close between this, hitting on the ace, and 13-6, very close between them, with hitting on the ace coming out top by 4,000 of a point. Double 5 came all the way around, double 4 made the 5 points, and then all these plays were pretty much forced. 3-2, and then this 6-2 where I thought it might be right to hit twice. It was close, but it is right to just come down. Obviously one player wins more gammons and loses more single games. And then no one saw this, but the right players to clear the 8 point and leave the 5-3 and 6-2. Did anyone see this? I'm not sure. I certainly didn't. And then sort of everything was forced. The 3-2, there was nothing else. I mean, what else were you going to do? And then that was pretty much it for the first game. And then the second game, they came down with 3-2, but actually it's slightly right to just play the normal 21 and 4, 21 and 11. And then, of course, making 2 points. And the right play was to come down and slot by a fairly decent margin. And then hitting e6. Was this a cube? Well, I've been rolling it out. Can't rely on this figure because I've only rolled out about 30 sets of games. But it's looking like it's looking like it's not going to be a cube and also because at the moment after 114 sets it's not a cube by 0.05, so it would take a lot for that to come down to 0, and it's unlikely to. So interesting that XG on the lower settings thinks it's a cube. Then the 2-1 was a tricky play, and all these 3 plays were close, but actually coming up to the 21 was slightly better. Coming up, yeah, like that. There's the arrow. And then 6-1, double 2 was sort of force. 5-3, 6-3, 6-5, great shot. 6-5, you've got to come out and make the 16. That was a great number, 2-5. And then this was a quite a big pass. So only 108 games, but the confidence interval on both sides. On the no double side, it's 0.02. And on the double side, it's 0.03. So both would have to come down to 0, and it would still be a pass by 0.01. So that's likely to be at least a 0.03 pass. And then 6-2, 6-3 was right to make the point. Stepping up is close. Not far away, let's plus them. Come back to that. So 5-3 they had to hit. 1-3 coming up was wrong. So any other 3 really, and then 6-5 is forced, and then this, and then the redouble is quite a big pass. And I don't think it was in any doubt that the USA were going to pass this cube. Where was I looking? Oh yeah, the 6-3. So coming up, yes, is an error, so that's wrong. And that's basically it. So I'm going to carry on with the rest of the match tomorrow. Like to do things in parts, because it gets a bit boring when you do the whole thing in one go. And thanks for watching. Bye.